Hello, everybody. All right, I'm here with Curtis Mishler from BP Legend Paint Protection Films, um, who we've worked with for several months now, doing a quick case study about our work. So, Kurt, why don't we start off with give us a quick intro on you and on the company?
We are a little bit of a newer company. Legend was created, in fact, we just started our seventh year, and we are a manufacturer of paint protection film. And one of the unique things about us in our industry is that we actually are growing our outside sales. But we started with just me. I was the first salesperson, and we knew I was brought on to develop the sales program. And so we played around with a couple of different systems. I was stupid enough to dive back into Salesforce, which I'd used in one of my previous companies. And I quickly left. I thought that we could do it, but it just didn't work. And so we went back and I moved over to HubSpot. And fairly soon after I started adding on people from our sales team and from our marketing team, there were just areas that I could not get things done fast enough because our business actually took off fairly quickly. And so my time was thin. And as I've always said, and I even think I said it to Phil before, is, you know, I like HubSpot because I can take and make changes on it and I can figure things out. And I'm just good enough to screw it all up. And so there was a little bit of that screwing it all up and stuff. And so we had gotten to a point where we really needed some good data, because we had added on New York rep, we'd added on a Florida rep. And at that time, I think when you started, we had a California rep. Then I was just getting behind and I did not have the time to sit down and play with the tool or HubSpot. And I needed help. And so the interesting part about our story with RevGravy was I was trying to go out and just find somebody because I had no reference to anything. And I had a couple of guys, I was going to look for an independent contractor, had a couple of guys reach out to me. And it just happened to be that Phil reached out because I was just going to build one report. That's all I was interested in. I just needed help with this one report. And it kind of goes from there. I mean, I had planned on doing this one report. It was a fixed fee. Phil was kind enough to take a flyer on us because I know I don't think that's his business. It's more of the long-term relationships type things. And Phil helped us get into it. And the funny part about it, this is not Phil's fault, but it is, I think, the nature of the beast. As soon as I saw somebody that could actually execute something very quickly, I found a whole lot more work for RevGravy. And we've stepped away a couple of times and came right back in. And the one thing that's been really nice is even though we were away for maybe 2 or 3 months and we were just trying to swallow all the things that RevGravy had done for us, as soon as we kicked it back in a couple of months later, because I had some more projects that I needed done and we had grown quite a bit and just didn't have the expertise at the time, it was very easy to step back into the RevGravy system. They knew who we were. They knew the things that we had went through. They knew the psychosis of the person that they were working with, which kind of helps out. And so, yeah, it's been a really good relationship, and we've benefited greatly from it.
Thanks, Kurt. Tell me about when you started to be on HubSpot, you needed the data. What was going on at the time? What were the implications of not having the data?
Well, especially for a new company that's going up against some of the biggest companies in the United States as a startup, I know that, and I think you've heard me say this before, the poem is always perfect in the mind. Well, for a while, we were going along going, oh, we're doing great. We're doing great. We're doing great. Sales are going up, not even thinking about it. Well, as things gone along and we added more people on, I needed to share kind of those best practices around our sales force. And so I just didn't have that. And today, I believe more than any time in my life, and I've been doing this for a long time in different companies, and today I think you can't run an effective sales force. Heck, I'll even go further than that. I don't think you can run an effective company if you don't have the data to show that I took this action, I got this result, or I took this action and it ended horribly. So don't do that again. And so it wasn't anything rocket science that I think that we were looking for as the head of sales. I mean, we're looking at what are those contact activities? Well, those are easy to find, but if you want to go a little bit more granular, which I do, is were they successful? What were some of the areas where are the things that our team is taking activities on? Which ones were successful? Which ones aren't? And then as a new company, I always take and look at it like, okay, we may be a $10 million company today. Well, I need to be working on where we are acting like a company that's 30 million. And so with that, I need to have good data to help make those decisions. I also have partners in the business that are investors, and we've got quarterly partner meetings that are investors in our company. And I've got to sound competent. Otherwise, I'm not sure they're going to keep me around very long. And so there's a little bit of a selfishness there. I wanted to sound like I knew what I was talking about when more than likely I really didn't, but I was faking it. But no, more than anything, it was to be able to share that information, not only with them, but also share this information of why we are doing things with our sales team and what those things are so we can compare and see best practices. And in doing that, we also owe it to those guys to be as knowledgeable of what is working and what is not working so we can set them up for as much success as we can, and we can coach around it. I mean, we have, I've cut this back a little bit, but when we first started this, when RevGravy got us the reports and some of the functionality, it's not, the stuff that you did for us was not really as much just reports. It was actually systems for how we work. And if we need to change those, and what are we reading and what are we looking at and what are we capturing? And those end up being in those kind of results. But that also helps us around the coaching of our team so they can, I'm the head of sales. I'm either moving people in or I'm going to need to move people out because we are a results driven type part of a business. And I needed to be able to show those things and that data that those people. Unfortunately, we have not had to move very few people out, and it's been more of a positive of being able to really coach around it and help guys take that next step in their professionalism and their effectiveness within the business.
You're crushing it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the most important thing that we worked on together that we helped you accomplish?
And I don't know that this comes across as an actual kind of product. One of the things that I felt fortunate and why actually after that first project and having a few conversations with you that really the breadth and depth of knowledge that you had and gave me the ability to ask this question. Hey, Phil, I would think that I would like to do this and this. And I think the thought process is good. Going back to the poem is always perfect in the mind. In that, I remember the first meeting we had, and I tell people this that I work with real closely. I'm like, okay, you've got one important job to do. If I go down a path that you, without a shadow of a doubt, know that it's a really dumb idea, I'm hiring you to take and go, hey, Kurt, good thought, dumb idea, because. And so that ability to bounce or to be able to present the RevGravy team and you, we work with Juan now and working with you, is that ability to have that communication because you have this breadth and depth of knowledge of working with a whole bunch of different other sales companies. And I know you don't just work with sales, but for me, working with all these sales companies, I had the advantage of being able to pick up on that experience. And, the areas right now, we're probably as close as we've been to getting to our version 1, and we bumped along a little bit. And that bump along was mainly because I was pushing certain things, and then we would see that it didn't work. It wasn't working like the way we thought it was going to work. And to have you guys take and come back in and go, okay, we've got an idea here. And for you to be able to present a solution and say, hey, we can't do this, but we can do this. And to take us through that, take me and my team through that narrative of saying, we can skin this cat a little bit differently. And so for right now, I mean, where we sit right now, I know that Juan's working on a few tweaks on things, but we've built a full dashboard for our investors and our management team, which is killer, that gives them that picture, not only revenue, activities, customer acquisition, customer retention. I mean, that's a very important thing to us. We actually built a unique, what I think is a very unique way to look at our business. We have customers that buy rolls of film and use it. And currently we're tracking, because we've been able to tie our inventory system into HubSpot with the help of RevGravy. We're able to take, and we've set a time frame, and hey, if a customer, we're looking at the frequency of their orders, and if we see it go a little bit off, we can take and go, hey, we get flagged at it a little bit and say, don't know if this is an issue, but when you're looking at it, they're trending down, they're not flat or trending up. Could be anomaly, but it gives us the ability. We're doing that not only with roles ordered, but also total sales dollars. And that gives us the ability to not have a surprise for, oh, heck, why didn't they call us? Because customers that are having problems in today's world, they don't have time to call you, or they just don't want to do the conflict. And it has given us the ability to engage those customers that something might be going on that we could fix very easily, but we don't know about, and not letting it get too far down the road where they go, you know what, peace out, I'm going to your competitor. And so I think that if you look at that, that is a really big thing outside the normal, what I would say, sales blocking and tackling. Okay, how many calls did you did? How many successful ones? How many meetings did you have? What were those conversations? What were your follow-ups and things like that? Those are all general blocking and tackling. I think that one thing right there is pretty large for us. And so it's the ability to flag our customers to kind of see when things don't look in normal. Now, the one thing that's nice about it, we're very early on this, and that data's been successful. I'm more interested in that information because the way that you guys had built it is the more data that comes in, the more accurate it becomes. And so it's not like an immediate gratification that you get all of it, but in another 6 months to a year, that data is going to be data that I'm not sure that our competitors look at in their companies, but I know it's important for us. I don't really care about them, but I know it works for us. So going back to, we've got a dashboard for our board, our management team, and for all of my sales VPs that have Canada and Europe and Germany, and then we have the US here. And then we've got one for not only our outside sales team, which is looking at those things and looking at companies that are in risk because they've missed one of those things, so that they can jump on them, make sure that there's not something going on. I mean, so far, most of the customers that we've done that with, we're like, hey, just want to check. Seems like they want to make sure everything's good. And they're like, oh, no, it's just a little bit slow. Okay, well, great. That's awesome. I mean, there's nothing there. And so we've been able to have that confirmation versus sitting there and guessing. We're jumping on it a lot quicker than going, oh my gosh, they haven't ordered anything in 3 months. We're able to see it in a month or see something that's trending. And then we've got another dashboard that we've got for our inside sales team. So yeah, I didn't even count those earlier when you asked me how many people. Add on two more, add on. We have two more in addition to, we've actually got 4 inside sales guys now. So it's even bigger than what I had mentioned earlier. So, and I think when you started with us, Phil, we were 2 inside salespeople. We're now 4.
Wow. Okay. What's last 2 questions?
Mm-hmm.
First one, what's the implication or what can you do as a consequence of those dashboards that you couldn't before? Like, what's the effect that it's having those dashboards?
No place to hide. It's
I
as
love it.
simple as that. There's no place to. I mean, and we're going to keep working on it because you've heard Andrew and I. Now I've got one of my guys that I'm tying into this because he's going to be a critical part of our leadership team. I mean, he's one of the best I've ever seen, and so I've tied him into this, and it's just there's no place to hide for us, the managers, and there's no place to hide. Not that anybody was, but there's no place to hide for the reps and their productivity because you've heard me say it. If it's not in HubSpot, it didn't happen.
Yes.
And I'm still driving that, and I'm pounding it. And believe me, those are if anybody that watches this video that can take and tell me an easier way to pound on really good people to do that and get them to do it. I am all ears, but we're working on it. We're making progress on it. But it's a mantra that every one of my salespeople know, and it's been said enough to them where I go, you know what I'm going to say? Yes, I know what you're going to say. If it's not in HubSpot, it didn't happen. I'm like, thank you. Okay, we're
Yeah.
done with the conversation. And so, it's just it lays out the game plan and it shows you what your results were and then you can coach around it. I think it's also better because in today's world, those individual reps, when I come to the phone call and we do our review, I'm not running the review. They're running the review I do it every 2 weeks. They're running the review. And then we're setting a plan at the end because the data is already there. And, for time saving, and I've never even said this to you, Phil, for time saving for me, because we are doing a lot of things and, everybody's busy. But our meetings that used to be an hour to an hour and 10 minutes that I'd be taking out of a salesperson's day on a weekly or biweekly basis. Yeah, because of that structure and be able to hand over those things for them to explain to me where they missed and what they're going to do about it. Or for me to ask, hey, you didn't touch this. Can you explain why we're missing on this or what your strategy around that is? As went from an hour to an hour and 10 minutes to this last week, I did it. It was 18 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, that's how significant. Yeah. I've never shared that with you, but that's no joke. I mean, we've went to 18 minutes,
That's
18
awesome.
to 15 minutes. And as you can tell through my communication styles, it's best for me not to talk because I am a long-winded person. so I like stories and I'll tell stories. And so it actually, I think it makes my guys who are my colleagues that report up to me, I think it gives them a little bit of like, hey, I didn't have to listen to him flap his lips for an hour and 10 minutes. And so, and it's a better meeting and it's a more meaningful meeting. So that's really the big thing is no place to hide and being able to put the control into the people who are doing the job. We hire them for a reason. And I'm very fortunate because we have really, our turnover has been next to nothing. And we have some of the best people that I've ever worked with in my career. And it's a really cool thing.
That's awesome. I love it. Any final comments for someone watching this who's maybe on the fence, considering working with us, anything like that you'd say to them?
I don't know, and I'm a big believer because I believe this also in our business. We're not the right company for everybody. And I tell the people that when we're talking with them or if I'm engaged in that conversation, is that their job to some extent is, if they like what we have to say or like to see like what the product that we're presenting, it's their job to assess whether we are the right company for them because we're not the right company for everybody. And so what I would, in my view, is I've left RevGravy before, not left it because I was unsatisfied because we had a break. I've come back But I would tell somebody, engage one time, just engage. I mean, what got me hooked was a $500 report, if you remember.
Yeah.
No, it was a $500 report, and we're down the road. Good gracious. I mean, we got to be coming up on a year or a little bit more. I can't remember. Um, but that $500 report gave me the confidence to go, okay, I've got other problems. These guys did a really good job. The communication was good. The deadlines were met. The overall experience was a very positive experience. And plus I got to tap into the gray matter of these guys that have worked with hundreds and hundreds of different organizations, and they know what's worked. I mean, you and I have had that conversation. I'm like, what are you seeing in your other customers? Have you seen this work? Have you seen it fail? Is it, the poem is always perfect in the mind until you put it to thing. That type of information, I count on that to make sure that you guys keep me in check and don't run down a rabbit hole that costs us thousands of dollars and provides absolutely butkus. So invest a $500 to $1,000 or whatever that project might be and assess it. I mean, because I'm obviously a fan and a buyer. And in fact, Andrew and I just talked to Juan about this. Okay, we're going to get through this. We're going to take and spend some time, make sure we're drilling down everything and everything's working appropriately, and that we're coaching our guys how to use this appropriately. But we're already putting together version 2 because we know we can improve it. And so we've got other things that we think can help us be more strategic and have better information that we can act on. And that's always the thing. I don't want information. I want information I can act on. I don't know. That it won't be a waste of your time, but it also, it won't be a waste of your money, but also you will find out because, you've heard me say it before. Yeses are great. No's are helpful. Maybes will kill me. I try to do my best to stay out of maybe land. And so the only way you can actually find out if your organization, Phil, is the right one for their company is to have that engagement, at least in a small scale. And I think that'll tell you enough to say, you know what? Yes, I'm going forward with RevGravy because, or no, I'm not going with RevGravy because. And I don't think you can argue with that because I would think you would agree. You're not the right company for everybody either.
That's right.
And so it's the same way in our company. We're not the right company for everybody. As much as I would love to be, I'm not. We're not. And so, but it's okay because we're also not shoving something down somebody's throat that they're going to regret and then say a bunch of bad stuff because we haven't been upfront and honest with them. And that's, I think, you know what? I just kind of stumbled across that, Phil, is I think that that's one of the things that I feel most confident in is that I've never had that feeling.
Yeah.
And so I'm not much of a feelings guy, but there is that confidence. And you guys have been successful at taking a complex situation and creating some simplicity around it to give me the confidence to make a decision of yes or no and to move forward with things. If anybody's got a better system to look at things like that, I'm all ears. But that's kind of what I use, and that's how I grade who I work with and where I invest my dollars, because this isn't a company. I mean, yes, it's company dollars. It's my dollars too, because I'm part of that group. I'm not looking to waste money, because this is my money that is investing in this, because we know and we will, I am quite confident we're getting and will continue to get, and we think we can make it better with the help of RevGravy to get a really good return on our investment with what you guys have done for us.
I love it. Thank you, Kurt.
So, yep, no problem.
All right, man.
Good seeing you. We'll talk to you soon. So, is that good?
Yeah, I'll send you the edited piece. Yeah, it's lovely. I mean,
okay.
awesome to hear just kind of how you think about it. Also to almost like reminisce a little bit, and to think about the relationship. And yeah, I mean, one of our my core things is always just say the truth.
Yeah.
Sometimes the truth is, hey, we're done here. Sometimes the truth is, this is a terrible idea. Sometimes the truth is, we made a mistake. We mess up. But as long as we tell the truth and we have trust with who we're working with, we'll be fine. So I really
Tell me
appreciate
anybody
you able to
that
say that.
tell me anyone, and if they say this, they're stinking lying out the backside of their body and out the front side of their body. I don't make I don't make mistakes. Okay, great, cool.
Yeah. Well, then
Then
yeah, they're not trying hard or.
is your name Jesus? 'Cause I'm just saying.
Yeah, I wanna smoke what you're smoking. Yeah, it's
Or I need
lovely.
to give you a drug test.
Yeah.
So
No, thank
no,
you so
no,
much
I,
for.
I do, and it's easy to say because that's exactly. I'm not making anything up.
Thank
I'm
you.
not making anything up. Juan's been awesome. You've been awesome. I mean, yeah, no, I mean, and that's not a joke. Andrew and I are calling it V2,
I love it.
and so we've got some other things that we know that are going to get tweaked. But I feel like, and I probably should have said this but I really feel like where we're at right now, and we're growing so fast, and things are flying at us really quickly. I feel like we're really, really just like inches away. And I think that one will fix all that stuff and be there, that we've got a incredible foundation that no longer will we need to work on like kind of this crazy big stuff, that we're going to just be doing, okay, let's crank that there and let's crank that there. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I've looked in the pages. You've completely smoked me where there's not a chance in hell that I can work in this system anymore, because I see all the
Oh,
reports and stuff that you did and all this stuff that's been added on. I'm going, oh yeah, he just got life. As long as we're here and we're on HubSpot, he just got a lifelong customer because there's not a shit chance that I could ever walk back in there and play with this a little bit.
yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully you grow. I mean, eventually you'll grow and you'll probably bring it in-house eventually, right? Like that'll be
I
depending
really
on.
don't. What do you mean by bring it in house? I don't. I really don't think we have a philosophy of taking it. Um, I mean that'll. I think that'll be for you to make that call, because yeah, it's a situation where we want to stay lean and mean. We want to manufacture film. We want to sell the heck out of it, and we want to grow the business. Nobody on the board. It's just like, I mean, I have zero desire, and I push back on it anytime somebody says custom software. No, 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 no. I don't want that. If I'm on the board, and I am on the board, I never want custom software. I think the way things have gotten now, I mean, you're telling me you're going to make a better system than a HubSpot. Seriously? They've been working on this for how many years?
Yeah.
I mean, and how much data do they have? And you could even go to Salesforce. You're going to make a better one than Salesforce?
Yeah, it's tough.
No,
No, I was referring to
I
like.
believe in that using
Yeah,
things, because there's so much. Now, the interesting thing I think is going to be the AI,
yeah. That's the next level. And HubSpot's
because
position is right with that.
HubSpot is. I mean, HubSpot's AI sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, they're building that's why their marketplace is what they're building out, and they have data studio to pull in data easily now. So you can just
What in the
deploy.
hell is? Because I just saw this today when we were working on something, and it actually said new, and I'm like, I've never seen this, because they've changed some things in the system, and it's um, the HubSpot credits.
Yeah. It's like how
What?
they're going to charge for AI. It's like electricity. It's usage. All AI business models, like I guess there's like $20 a month now for OpenAI and Claude and things like that. But for agents and things like that, even the $20 a month is actually based on a certain number of credits that you can use up. And then you hit a limit if you go over the like Claude will stop for me.
Can
Like,
you
over
even
that.
look at it like in in Chat GPT? Can you even
Um,
see?
I don't know
But
because I use
I know
Claude.
what you're talking about on that. The
Yeah.
interesting part about it is because like so for example, I'm messing around with Motion.
Yeah.
Motion's got that. They got the credits up there, and I notice as I'm using their AI within theirs, and I think it's their own AI actually because they were doing it a long time ago. But I don't understand how your credits work. If I
Oh,
do
for
this, does
HubSpot.
this take 10?
Yeah.
Does this take 100? Does this take 50?
Oh, yeah. It depends on the. I also don't know, to be honest. But this thing is going to run out in like in less than a minute, I guess.
Yeah.
Zoom.
Okay. Real
So
quick,
thank
and
you
this
for the
is
time.
another thing, and I wanted to touch base with you. You and I need to get where you pitched that idea to me, and I know I've got to get on the RevGravy. I'm going to hop on RevGravy sometime, and
Yeah,
and uh,
I was
and
thinking about
just
that.
if we got time, I would love to do it because have you played with it more and kind of honed it a little bit more?
To be honest, no,
Okay,
but it's pretty
that's
solid as it is. Uh, yeah, it's pretty cool. I can show you um what it would look like.
you be good. I know you got to get to your the jam session, so talk to you soon.
Bye,
Bye.
Kurt. Thanks again.
Yep.